Hey everybody, welcome back to Redbird Forest Farm. I'm Cameron, and it's extremely hot, like unbearably hot. It is so hot today. It's like 97 degrees. The last time that you saw me, it was cold, and I said, "Oh, brr, I'm cold now," but it's almost springtime. Well, now it's like not just springtime. There's a huge spider on me. Ah, okay. Now it's hot. It's like extremely hot. It's so hot that the paddle cactuses are blooming. Cactus paddles? I don't know. They're blooming. Anyway, so this is a short video just to tell you some things that we're up to that you might be interested in. The first thing is this pond that we put in. You can see some of the things I did wrong with putting the pond in, but in a general sense, I'm pretty happy with it. It's full of tadpoles right now. I'll probably try to put the video in right now, but I took a video of the day that all the eggs were laid. And it was deeply scary because there was this weird frog noise. It sounded like an animal dying. And I came out here and there's just a big frog pooping out a bunch of eggs. Ooh, everybody loves it. Now we got a bunch of little tadpoles that keep dipping up. I've got some footage I took that hopefully will allow you to see the tadpoles. But anyway, it's looking okay. The liner is exposed in a way I don't like because I didn't know what I was doing when I did it. But I'm going to do V2 at some point. Maybe I'll try to fix this one. But it's neat. It's keeping some water in the landscape. I got some water plants in it. So it's a neat little project that we've been working on here. You might also be curious to see some of the stuff that we worked on last time. This is the bed that I put in of blueberries. It's really exciting. These are I believe Josterberries or gooseberries. I don't have my label on me right now. They are not doing well in the heat. I might need to pull these up and transplant them into the woods, which is unfortunate. That's not really what I want to do, but if you have to, you have to. You can see actually that grass is like very aggressively, like I told you all, like I demonstrated to you, like I suggested to you in the previous video. Grass here and grass seed is just so aggressive that it's very difficult, and like so this all came up very, very quickly. It was kind of hard to manage, and so I would rather try to outcompete it. That did not work. Most of the clover has died again because of the heat. It's just gotten so hot this year so quickly. But you can see there's some very small blueberries that are on these. They went early. I don't think that they were fertilized enough. You know, I just think there were some issues there to making it happen. Sorry, what? There's some huge birds or something flying around over here and like making a huge racket. Sorry, that was a skink war that was going on. There's like bird war occurring. There's lizard war. Anyway, point being is that these blueberries I think are maybe a bad spot. They need a little bit more shade. I've left all the tags on them, as you can see, to kind of determine which varieties actually work out here. We've got some that are working better than others, and like, you know, some are really struggling, even though I've been trying to water them, but not water them too much. So it's a big learning process. You know, it's a chunk of money down a toilet if they don't stick around. But I'm going to try some other mulching methods, and we can see what we can do. I think, you know, and this one just completely passed away, you can see, but that's, you know, ooh, let's see if we can get in here this, you know, straight stick. Anyway. But just a little update on something that we've been working on. This one, doing great. Doing A-okay. Look at that bad boy. He's got some of those big old blurbs on him. So, anyway, this is also what the clover looks like, in case you're curious. This is, the blueberries are right here, and there's this little dead hedge that we put in for bugs and creatures and critters and whatnot. And then we put this little wildflower zone in. We just scattered some seeds in the fall, put a little bit of pine straw down. It's also in really direct and full sun, but a lot of stuff has come up. You can see there's little bees flying around. I hope you can see that. This is a place where I'm pretty sure there was a shed at some point, and so the soil, quote unquote, big quotation marks under soil here, the soil under here is mostly just sand. And so I'm really surprised that these things came up and have done so well. And there's a lot of different cool stuff you can see here. I really like these. I think these are cornflowers. I'm a big fan of that. And so I'm hoping that that will continue to go. Also these poppies, which are just beautiful. I'm going to get my big head out of the way. Here we go. Geez. I think the poppies are beautiful. And I'm sure you can maybe, hopefully, hear behind me the sheer amount of bird life. Maybe I said it in the other video, but maybe I forgot. There just wasn't a lot of bird life when we moved here, and so I'm feeling really good about what we've done out here in order to kind of increase food for birds and insect life to really get the songbirds going. Because toward the end of summer last year, just absolutely nothing. Even though birds, in a general sense, were still around. So, just come to Redbird Forest Farm to hear about if birds are around or not. Just a fun little side thing. So I purchased, I think it's from Toadshade Farms. I can put the link in the description. But it is a kind of native plants seeds, and specifically native grasses, native flowers, and things like that. And I started those. I had them in the fridge doing vernalization for a very long time. And I planted them out a couple weeks ago, and look at them go. So it's all these different grasses and things like that. Flat top aster over here. Goldenrod. I'm a big goldenrod fan, and so I try to get some different types. And so you can see this is wrinkle leaf goldenrod right here, and this is showy goldenrod. So I'm really excited about that. And then there's some straight up purple top grasses and things like that. So this is my little thing. I don't really know how I'm going to plant these out, but step one is to get them sprouted. Some have not gone, as you can see, but for the most part they're going. So I'm really excited about that. This is also bull nettle. This thing with these beautiful white flowers, and apparently, you see this big piece of plastic I found in the ground right there. But apparently bull nettle is, if you touch it, it is as bad. It's got these little spines. I don't know if you can see them. Maybe you can, I don't know. Anyway, oh wait, I bet there. Wow! Anyway, it's apparently as bad as being stung by a bee. And my wife touched right on them while she was putting these trays down. Yeehaw. She said it hurt real bad. Pretty cool thing here. Apologies, you can probably hear the air conditioner. I'm behind my house here. But pretty cool thing that we have done is I've started marking out this space for kind of a wildflower garden. This is just straight packed sand and clay. It's really unfertile. You can see there's not a lot of grass on it, and so we're just going to start dumping random grass clippings and materials on it just to kind of put something on top of the soil to cover the soil a little bit, insulate it a little bit, get some dirt going in it. Get some dirt going in the soil. Tell me, get in the comments, tell me your favorite methods for getting some dirt in the soil. But it's so hot. But anyway, so I did that, put this little snag kind of in the middle there, and birds have been hanging out there eating flies and gnats and stuff back here. And so this hopefully by next year will have a couple little shrubs in it and things like that in order to just get some pollination going back here in a little bit of an area. It's the blueberries are over there, so kind of far away from some of the other flowers and things like that we got going on. So it's just another planting zone that hopefully we'll have a whole video on in the future. Very happy with this thing. This is a compost bin that I built out of things that I found beside the side of the road. I found someone had dumped maybe 80 feet of fence line or something like that just on the side of the road, and I was like, well, that's wood. Something's stinging me on the neck. And I said, well, that's wood. Like, what can I do with it? So I went out and tried to get what I could that was still useful. Yeah, there's a big mosquito. Oh, my word. Jeez, get out of here, bud. But anyway, so my big head is largely in the way. There we go. I don't know why look at my shoulders. But so I just threw those bad boys up and wired them up, put some wires on them, and got kind of a one bay compost bin going. And we got another kind of smaller bay going. Not a lot in there yet, but it's going to get a lot of use midsummer and into the fall as we start trading some things out, some different crops and whatnot. And I'm really excited about it. One or two things I want to talk about here before we're done, and thanks so much for listening so far. If you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, why don't you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. Be like, ooh, great tree, because this is a great tree. This is a pear tree that's just like kind of hanging out at the woods edge here. It produced pears last year. They were largely inedible. They were disgusting, but they were full-size pears, kind of like Bartlett style pear. I don't know what tree this actually is. All around here, there have been several what do you call those things? The bad guys you don't like. Bradford pears. There we go. And I don't inherently hate a Bradford pear, but they produce all those little poopy fruits, and they take up a lot of space from other trees that could be here. And we have laurel cherry, like I've talked about, is the laurel cherry right here, cherry laurel. In the last video, I actually determined that both of those are used, so I was never wrong, and you can't prove if I was. But anyway, so we have those, and those are really nice kind of native / naturalized, I don't remember, tree for native wildlife and things to eat, and can help, cover some of that zone that Bradford pears did. So more interested in transplanting those around and making sure I get all the Bradford pears out. But this is a nice little pear tree. It's just hanging out here. It broke at some point, as maybe you can see going up. And because of this cherry laurel here, it's had to like reach out. So I think I'm actually going to maybe cut this tree back quite a bit because I want to make room for some other things. This is right on the other side of that. Maybe I've showed this off in a previous video, I don't remember, but this is a Jonah gold apple. It's actually got a big vine climbing up it. I need to cut out, but I haven't done that yet. But it's Jonah gold apple, and got my little ring around it because the deer were attacking it to death. But it's growing here, and it's getting a lot of sun all day long, but not a huge amount, thankfully, because it's got this tree cover. And then I'll cut these trees here at the point where I need to do that in order to give it more sun, to kind of release some more sun. But it's great. Look at this bad boy. I find it delightful. But you can see they are in a little bit of distress because, again, it is extremely hot. Like, I really, truly can't express that. And they're very close to one another. I will probably cap these off at 9 or 10 feet if I can. And I will have to, prune in between to keep them from touching, I believe, at their total height. But I kind of want to keep all the fruit trees back here, and I have an idea for a line of fruit trees. I want to keep them small. I want to keep them manageable, the kind of backyard orchard stuff. And I have some other plans for in the woods next winter, planning for some light release and then planting some full-size fruit trees with the expectation that they would grow to full-size capacity. You can also see this big vine doing a Mario here. That's my favorite line from Chris Pratt when he went whatever. Kind of a follow-up to that. This is right across. There's the compost bin, and there's a bunch of trash on the ground, you can see. And there's the other apples over there. This is a Fuji apple that I've put in here to help with pollination on those other ones when that comes around. And this gets almost entirely morning sun and is sheltered from really harsh evening sun. And then right over here, this is the other apple tree. It's also, I believe, a Fuji. And it's getting its ass totally kicked 24/7 by extremely terrible heat. I'm trying to help it manage as much as possible, but this one gets a full whatever at this point, 14 hours of sun a day or something like that. So it's being a champ. It's still putting growth on. I'm not super worried about it. It recovers every afternoon, but you can see that it really is just kind of going through it. And I might end up throwing some shade cloth on top of it or with it at some point to just kind of help it out. If anyone has any suggestions about that. Apple trees are good in full sun, I've been told, /red, and I read quite a lot. But full sun here in central Georgia versus full sun literally in other places other than the desert or Florida, right, are kind of different. So curious about some suggestions about keeping it in full sun, but keeping it maybe a little bit cooler. It's also heavily mulched, so that's a part of trying to keep it hydrated and feeling good. Those are the plums over there, and I have a whole story about that, but that's for a different video, I think. Final thing I want to show you today, this is on the other side of this little shed, and this gets sun most of the day except for the very early morning. And it's a little elderberry patch that I've put in, and I tried to mow some things down, did a little bit of weed eating, but I've mostly let things that are here kind of hang out to help cover the soil a bit. I did some chop and drop with a sweet gum tree over there and did it. This is lemon balm I just planted because it would be fun. But yeah, these are different types of elderberry. I don't have it written down right now on me about which ones they are, but I have them written down on a little sheet of paper. And there are different types of elderberry, some of which are self-fertile, I think, or at least one-to-one fertile, and then like the John/Adams type and all of that. There's also, I think, someone let me know, Tree of Paradise or sumac. I think Tree of Paradise, but if it is sumac, this is also one here, let me know, because that would be helpful to know. But yeah, anyway, so these elders that are here, and then a redbud tree. So the idea would be the sun is it arcs directly over us here where I'm standing, and in the winter it kind of arcs back a little bit. It would be behind me. And so this would be a nice little, beautiful tree that'll grow here and kind of hang out with these elders that I would keep a little bit shorter, or at least in front of it. So it's great. It's looking good, and they're all doing really well, even though they're getting that huge amount of sun, just like everything else here. And I'm really excited to maybe get elderberries going and do some work with that. All right, thanks for watching this video today. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it now and also in the future and retroactively somehow in the past. I have a lot more stuff to show you that's really cool, and I want to make more videos like this that are kind of short than the previous video that I have out, and that maybe you've seen already about blueberry time. You should check it out. The link's in the description below and probably at the end of the video, which is a little bit more in-depth and also about a project and stuff like that. It's just been a very busy spring. There was a whole blooming season that I didn't capture anything of just because we were so busy trying to get things going. So actually what's behind me is the woodland itself, which is a huge part of what's going on here, and I haven't made any videos about that. And what I've done, and that was a huge part of the winter and the spring, was clearing, planting, putting trees in, thinking about things that can go in the woods itself. So I've also been looking into mushrooms. I've grown mushrooms in the past, but now I have a lot more space and kind of capability to grow them in a woodland setting. I'm curious about trying that. Again, like I've talked about before, deer pressure is just so extreme that it's really hard to get some of that stuff going, but I'm more interested in developing tactics to deal with it in a non-invasive, non-fencing, whatever kind of way out here. We've got another video probably coming at some point. That's just a garden tour. We had to put a deer fence around just the straight up garden, but I think people will be really excited about that. Now we've got mammoth sunflowers going. That's a thing that my wife would probably have to tell you the most about, even though I do have 100 pounds of potatoes in the ground. It's potato time, y'all. And lots of other stuff too. If you want to see stuff that we're doing at a frequency more quickly than these YouTube videos, you can go to check us out on Instagram. We're posting things there pretty consistently, and you should hit like and whatever you do over on that platform a lot to make that go, algorithms and whatnot. Anyway, there's a plane coming, so that's me saying goodbye. See you in the next one.